Speed kills, and these 10 turbocharged superstars have been on a total warpath. These are today's top 10 fastest footballers. 10. Mohamed Salah. From operating up close and personal to flying past defenders like they're not even there, it's pretty fair to say that Mohamed Salah can do it all. In 2017, Salah signed for Liverpool and has been a true sensation in the Premier League ever since, putting memories of his underwhelming 2-year stint at Chelsea behind him. You can just see the physical difference in this Egyptian international as his career's progressed, with him eventually becoming the force of nature we know and love today. And it's not as if Salah's lightning pace is alone in being front and centre. He's got the skills and overall mentality to back it up. Finesse in tight positions, confidence on the ball, a killer instinct. This born goal scorer has virtually no holes in his game. But when those turbo jets kick in, even the most rapid defenders across Europe struggle to keep up with him, with his top speed coming in at 35 kilometers per hour. 9. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Few players can match his insane collection of supercars, and even fewer can catch him when he reaches top speed on foot. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has made a name for himself with some of the top clubs in Europe on the back of some truly rapid pace that he's consistently used to blast past some of the sport's most experienced defenders. Now plying his trade in La Liga with Barcelona, this real-life supercar of an athlete is already proving to be the perfect link-up to his fellow speedster Adama Traore, making them one of Europe's most terrifying duos. His last recorded top speed might not outrun a Ferrari, but there are only a handful of players who could ever hope to compete with the whopping 35.5 kilometers an hour posted by Aubameyang. Number 8. Kyle Walker. Defending against a counter-attack is a nightmare when you don't have the legs for it. But for Manchester City, Kyle Walker is the perfect ace in the hole when all else fails. Known just as much for his defence as he is for his marauding runs in the opposition's half, Walker doesn't seem to be losing any steam, even at the age of 31. Physically imposing, quick as an arrow, and as experienced as they come. Even now, 3 Premier League titles later, it's clear that Kyle Walker is at the height of his powers. Sure, there's a lot of quick players in the game, but when it comes to defenders, Kyle Walker is right up there with the fastest of them. And for him, tracking back to shut down a swift counter-attack is no problem, with a top speed coming in at 35.71 kilometers an hour. 7. Erling Haaland. Pace alone doesn't make a player great, but Erling Haaland has so much of it, it's almost unfair. And he's certainly no one-trick pony. It's his physicality, his natural instincts, and the sheer terror he inspires in defenders. This Norwegian beast truly has the best of both worlds. Capable of eating up the entire length of the pitch in no time at all, when his pace isn't enough to get the job done, his sheer strength allows him to brush past his adversaries. When up against a centre-back who can match his pure force, Haaland can simply turn on the jets and leave them eating his dust. When both fail, it just so happens that he has an absolute rocket of a left boot to fall back on. At the age of 20, he set a Bundesliga speed record during his Dortmund side's 3-2 victory over Stuttgart, and he comes into this list with a top speed of 36.04 kilometers an hour. Number 6. Leroy Sané. There was a time when it seemed like Leroy Sané was setting speed records every time he put on a jersey. 2 years into his career as a first-team player, he'd already earned a call-up to the German national team and a £37 million move to Manchester City. There he used his God-given speed to help City in winning back-to-back Premier League titles. As one of the few left-footed players to play on the left wing, Sané gives defenders a very different type of challenge, whether he's dipping into his vast supply of explosive pace or not. The scary thing is that Sané appears to be even quicker since moving to Bayern, and even though his most recent high mark is a lightning-fast 36.51 kilometers an hour, chances are he'll beat that before long. 5. Kylian Mbappé. 3 consecutive domestic goal-scoring awards, a World Cup title, and oh yeah, he runs like a cheetah. When you factor in that Kylian Mbappé is just 23 years old, it becomes pretty clear that you're dealing with a truly generational talent. World-class from his earliest days as a professional. The scary thing about this French international is that his improvements are not slowing down. Not at all. When opposing defenders read the name Mbappé on a team sheet, they know full well that they'd better bring their running shoes. Just ask Mats Hummels, who famously was left chasing after Mbappe's shadow in a viral one-on-one moment. Known as one of the most lethal counter-attacking threats alive, having Neymar and Messi alongside him really does bring PSG a uniquely dangerous trio. It says a lot about just how much of a one in a million this guy is when his top speed of 36.08 kilometers an hour is only the tip of the iceberg that is his overall talent. If this list was strictly based on speed with the ball at their feet, there's no doubt Mbappe would be at the very top. 4. Adama Traore. Out of all the players we're featuring on today's list, Adama Traore is without question the outlier of the group. 99.9% of the time, an athlete built as incredibly strongly as Traore would never be expected to have world-class pace. I mean, seriously, would you just look at the size of the man? We've all seen the viral photos showing this guy's incredibly muscular physique, but when he takes off running, you'd be forgiven for thinking he was half the size he actually is. An expert dribbler and a clinical passer, Traore's potential ceiling seems to be going up with each passing season, and it's pretty easy to see why. A nightmare for most defenders he's faced in both the Premier League and La Liga, Adama Traore is the football equivalent of a boulder rolling at top speed down the side of a hill. Men that large shouldn't be able to hit 36.08 kilometers an hour. It doesn't make any sense. Number 3. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford might have his inconsistency issues, but goodness me, he's as quick as a flash. Even those that have been calling for him to be dropped would still agree that Rashford is liable to turn it all around if he can work through this poor patch. Originally a striker whose natural pace saw him eventually move out to the wing, it's crazy to think that he's still just 24 years of age, with 6 seasons of experience under his belt. As far as great United Academy graduates in the last decade go, Rashford certainly stands out, bursting out of the gates to make an instant impact on the first team back in 2015. His unbelievable set of wheels were later joined by an increasingly well-rounded overall game, as he truly stamped down his place on the starting lineup. Over the years, he's enjoyed many riveting battles with the aforementioned Kyle Walker, 2 speedsters occupying opposite sides in the Manchester derby. As good an athlete as you'll find at Old Trafford, while also being the fastest player in the United dressing room, and potentially even the Premier League, Rashford managed to famously clock a season high-speed record of 36.3 kilometers an hour in-game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. 2. Achraf Hakimi. PSG really outdid themselves when they picked up this Moroccan megastar, marking one of the best signings of the season when they stole him away from Inter. Long seen as the perfect addition to the Italian outfit, Hakimi's natural pace allowed him to mould especially well with Antonio Conte's style of counter-attacking football. And after just 1 season in Serie A, that saw him score on 6 different occasions. His reputation as one of the best wing-backs in the world was set in stone. Even at the young age of 23, Hakimi performs with the confidence of a player in his prime. When you take a look at the PSG team sheet and all of the incredible speedsters they have in their ranks, Hakimi remains a cut above the others, falling just shy of the title of world's fastest player, but with a blazing top speed of 36.48 kilometers an hour. Number 1. Alphonso Davies. Look up the word pace on Google and you'll probably see a picture of this trailblazing Bayern Munich superstar staring right back at you. Not only is Alphonso Davies considered to be one of the finest left-backs of the era, but he's also, without question, one of the greatest Canadian exports to have ever had major success in Europe. At the age of just 19 years old, Davies has already got his hands on a Champions League medal, playing a key role as the German giant saw off PSG in the final. In fact, he was such an instant success that he managed to push the excellent David Alaba out of his favoured left-back spot and into the centre of defence. Sure, he's known for his creativity, his defensive fundamentals, and his ability to affect the game in the final third, but Alphonso Davies is coming in at number 1 for his truly ridiculous speed. The Bundesliga generally has no shortage of pacey operators, but it says a lot that Alphonso's teammates have given him the nickname the Road Runner. And honestly, with a top speed that's been measured at 36.51 kilometers an hour, where's the lie?